How you doing? It's Al Baker here from Components of Success. Now, today what I want to talk to you about is mentors and choosing a mentor, right? One of the key important points that I know from not just marketing or internet business or anything like that, from life, is that if you want to get somewhere, you get a good teacher, you get a good coach, you get a good, someone who has been there and done that, who can then show you how to do it, right? Um, my background, I'll just give you a little bit of my background so you know who I am and why would you listen to me. My background is in athletics, right? In school, I was a champion. I did what I had to do as an athlete, though I understood that academics and study was is the way out. I didn't particularly consider athletics the pinnacle of everything. I considered my education and my understanding and my ability to learn as the pinnacle of a school career. Okay, so I did very well in school. I then ventured out onto my own, and I got into the field of training myself. I trained executives. I worked for a large nonprofit organization for many years, and I trained the executives for that organization. And I became expert in the subject of, I think this is a little different field of education. But I didn't become expert in history or physics or chemistry. I became expert in the study of how a human being assimilates information, right? Now, there's a key factor that I know from this, and I'm going to relate this to choosing a mentor shortly. But when you see a bunch of people moving through something like molasses, slow, confusing, trouble, etc., a high percentage of people in that field being unsuccessful, there's a problem. The problem generally in that type of situation is those, either the teachers of that subject or the general students of that subject, are missing the underlying fundamental basics, underlying the key tools of that subject. For example, all right, now I'm going to give you an example of a book here. You're probably familiar with this book called Magnetic Sponsoring. Now, I consider this book the key fundamental textbook on the subject of network marketing and internet marketing. Okay, basically what was done in this subject was Mike Dillard stumbled around and found the key components of marketing. He went into marketing. He went into the field of marketing and the books of marketing and the guys who were very successful in marketing, and he read enough and studied enough and clarified the subject enough for himself where he could say, hey, the key basics of this subject are A, B, C, D, right? So you have in this book the basics of success in this business. Now I say that, and I choose this one. I choose Mike Dillard and I choose Magnetic Sponsoring because he was successful. He then, from the use of this textbook, made many other successful people. Now I know from my own experience, just by being a marketer myself and having been in the field of education myself, I know that there are many, too many people who don't get it. I have had fellow marketers, talk to me about Magnetic Sponsoring, and I could spot immediately, based on my experience, that they didn't understand certain things in the book, so they'll never use it. So my educated contention is that people have misunderstood terminology in this book. Okay, so there's a line in here. The title of this is Understanding the Source of Personal Attraction. Now, if somebody read that and they didn't understand the word attraction, they didn't really understand it, they thought it meant sticking together or something like that, and didn't understand what it really meant, their awareness would go down. They would not then fully understand some of the things that came after it. So, there's another word in here. Discovering this methodology was a life-changing epiphany for me, as it will be for you. It also says down the page, I had made 100 to 200 calls per day to genealogy lists. Well, what's a genealogy list? If you don't know what a genealogy list is, you're going to have a problem. Now, when I say you have to have the underlying data, the underlying facts below the key tools in a subject, this is what I mean. If you understand that your ability to assimilate data is a factor underlying your ability to use magnetic sponsoring or any other marketing system, then you understand that you need to step back a step. And that's what I do. I help you take back a step. That's my profession. That's what I do best. I can help you take a step backwards and understand how to assimilate data properly, so you then, when you read magnetic sponsoring, you actually understand it and you can do it. This is a missing factor. So when choosing a mentor, if you have your own basics in other words, if you understand how to assimilate data properly, you can then exert the judgment on whatever mentor you're looking at. You can say, okay, now I understand what basics are. I know what the basics of a subject can be. In any given subject, be that subject, it can be any subject. Marketing is a good subject because that's what we're dealing with. But in any given subject, there are only a handful of essential basic datums. And if you understand those essential basic datums, you can then master that subject. Repetition of fundamentals and drilling and understanding and learning and doing and repeating and over, just like an athlete. You perfect the subject. Once you perfect the subject, you can then go on to apply that subject and be successful in that subject. So the key thing is your own ability to assimilate data properly. Once you can do that, you can master any subject.